Welcome to ESET East Africa's Endpoint Protector Data Loss Prevention and Mobile Device Management sales video. We're just going to be covering a few reasons as to why you need a DLP and or an MDM solution, as well as some of the issues that you may encounter with some of the MDM solutions and DLP solutions on the market, and then of course how our product, Endpoint Protector, might be able to suit those requirements. So as a first step, why do you need DLP and MDM? Well, first things first, the increasing trend around bring your own device obviously poses all sorts of unknown risks to an organization. You don't know of any rogue or unwanted software on your user devices which may pose a risk to the security of your company's systems. Secondly, there's obviously an ongoing trend of an increase in mobile workforce and remote employees. So being able to lock down the critical or sensitive information on those remote endpoints, whether it be on their laptops or on their mobile devices, obviously means that you have stricter control over your sensitive information and decrease the risk of security issues for your organizations. Thirdly, unfortunately, misconfigured systems often go undetected. So you may have a system sitting somewhere on your network that no one is aware of. And obviously, if that system has any type of issue, it can basically go on along and no one will know about it until some point in the future. There's also often a lack of security awareness on the part of users, so they might not know where they need to send certain files or where they're not supposed to send certain files. They might be concerned about opening specific links or communicating the way that you've dictated in your company policy. So by enforcing controls over the flow of sensitive information using a DLP solution, you effectively negate the issue of security awareness on part of your users. Then, of course, in terms of DLP, there's a lot of countries which may have some type of law in place where you need to comply with laws and regulations. And in the event that you are found to not have complied with those laws or regulations, you may run into various fines and penalties as a result. And then, of course, lastly, which kind of goes hand in hand with the last point, if you do suffer some kind of data breach, it may be extremely costly if it occurs. So not only might you run into fines and penalties if you were actually supposed to be compliant, but you may then run additional costs as a result of the data breach itself. Then, what are the problems in implementing DLP solutions? Well, one of the first points, and it can basically be applied to the majority of products, is that in any organization there might be people with limited IT knowledge or background, because essentially there's typically no universal solution for each and every network, but most limitations and challenges come from the size of the organization. So obviously a smaller organization tends to have a single or outsourced IT person or company, and many of them unfortunately don't have experience with DLP solutions. Then many DLP solutions out there have a very steep learning curve, making it extremely difficult for organizations to adopt a solution, even more so with one or limited IT personnel. Then they basically need to pick up the DLP solution and your one that you choose specifically in order to actually implement it. Then some solutions don't offer a great deal of granularity or flexibility. Many are not easily scalable, and in the case of a hardware appliance, needs to be replaced altogether in order to cope with more users or to add new features, for example. Very few vendors have some form of local support, and even those that do may not offer it efficiently. And lastly, nowadays, many organizations have a mixed environment with many different operating systems, and most DLP vendors neglect Mac OS X or Linux platforms as their solutions are built for Windows only. So, how do we deal with all of these issues? Obviously, the solution is Endpoint Protector. First things first, it needs to be noted that it has been certified, awarded, and is currently trusted by some of the largest brands around the world, including Aon, Sony, and Philips. And while I can't confirm this, I would say that Sony adopted Endpoint Protector after following the massive breach that they had a couple of years ago, where a lot of sensitive information was actually made public. Casosa Software, the vendor behind Endpoint Protector, is based in Romania, and they've actually received numerous awards and certifications, which is why it's mentioned at the top there. They're also open to any feedback and requests and happily incorporate them into future releases. And we actually had them add classification rules for South African ID numbers, for example. So it's a vendor that's always looking to improve their own product and actually listen to user feedback properly. Then covering some of the key features, it's a completely cross-platform solution supporting Windows, Mac OS X, and Linux endpoints, which is very uncommon when you compare it with other vendors. It comprises of device control, content-aware protection, and mobile device management. So it essentially has three modules built into one product. Device control implies control over any physical device that you can connect to an endpoint, similar to the device control feature listed for ESET, Endpoint Protection products, but with the addition of a trusted device framework, which allows you to specify that a removable device using some form of encryption, be it using software or hardware, can be deemed a certain level of trusted device, ensuring that it will always work where unencrypted devices may be blocked because they are considered untrusted. Content-aware protection, or CAP for short, is the actual inspection of content within files, emails, and more, where you basically set up policies to define which content is allowed to be transferred to what, such as blocking the upload of a spreadsheet with credit card or ID numbers to a Gmail address or a Dropbox. Then, obviously, mobile device management goes hand in hand with offering a complete DLP solution. Nowadays, everyone is accessing their business email on a phone or tablet, and improving the security policies on these devices is of high importance. So you can ensure that people can't use a simple swipe to unlock because a password policy is enforced, for example, or blocking access to the camera on the phone when they're in the office building, since it can be used to take photos of documents or other sensitive material. They also provide a variety of pre-configured virtual machine templates so that you can basically just import it into your respective hypervisor. They also offer outstanding support through us as your local partner, with direct contact to their support team and channel manager for the territory as well. There's no significant training or certification required for Endpoint Protector, since the solution has such a small learning curve compared to other DLP solutions, even for people with a limited IT background. Everything is easy to deploy, configure, and maintain due to all of the points that we've mentioned before, and that's obviously the ethos for all products provided by ESET. It's also easily scalable without extensive IT personnel, resources, or unproductive downtime. From a pricing perspective, it's also a product with perpetual licensing, but you only need to license what you need. There are no additional services required, such as server or database licenses. It also fits small organizations right up to large enterprises, because it's also a fraction of the price compared to other vendors. And our major competitors include primarily Symantec and McAfee DLP. Those are by far the largest competitors that we come across in all of the territories that we distribute Endpoint Protector. So we hope that was an informative little session. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us either at support@esetafrica.com or partners@esetafrica.com if you are a registered partner or if you are interested in registering as a partner. We hope you found this informative. Thank you and have a good day.